You didn't stumble into this video by accident. You're here because something inside you is tired. Tired of the noise, tired of the pressure, tired of the constant war inside your own mind. And if we're honest, it's not always loud, is it? Sometimes the voice is quiet, a whisper, a passing thought that slips in when no one else is around. You're falling behind. You're not enough. You're failing. Other times, it's deafening. It wakes you up in the middle of the night. It turns small moments into panic. It takes the tiniest mistake and spins it into a disaster. That voice, it pretends to be you. It uses your tone. It speaks in your rhythm, but it's not you. Let that sink in for a moment. That voice is not you. It is the collection of every wound that was never allowed to heal. Every careless word spoken by someone who never saw your full value. Every memory that taught your brain to prepare for pain. And over time, those moments started building patterns. Those patterns became thoughts. And those thoughts became beliefs. Not because they were true, but because they were repeated. So before we move forward, take a breath, a real one. Breathe in, hold it, and breathe out slowly. Again. Let your body settle. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your stomach soften. You don't need to fight right now. You don't need to figure everything out. You don't need to fix yourself, because you're not broken. You're just overwhelmed. You're tired of carrying thoughts that were never yours to carry. This video isn't going to shout over your thoughts. It's not going to try and drown them out with toxic positivity or motivational cliches. It's going to guide you back to yourself, back to your breath, back to the part of you that existed before the world tried to make you smaller. There's a version of you underneath the noise, a calm version, a strong version, one that speaks with clarity and kindness, one that isn't at war with itself. We're going to meet that version, maybe for the first time, or maybe you just forgot they were there. Either way, I want you to know this. You're safe here. This is your moment, your pause, your reset, your reminder that you are not your negative thoughts. You are the one listening to them. And if you are the listener, then you also have the power to turn the volume down. Let's begin with something most people never hear. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them, the one who notices, the one who can choose what stays and what doesn't. But negative thoughts don't like to be noticed. They prefer to blend in, to feel like truth, to feel like your own inner voice. But pause for a moment and really think, where did that voice come from? Was it always there? Or did it show up after something happened? A failure? A breakup? A parent's impossible expectations? A teacher's harsh words? A friend's betrayal? Somewhere along the way, that voice crept in and made itself at home. It's the voice that whispers, you should be doing more. You're not smart enough. You'll mess this up just like you always do. It repeats the same script over and over until you stop questioning it. But here's the truth most people miss. Just because a thought is loud doesn't mean it's true. Say that again in your mind. Just because a thought is loud doesn't mean it's true. Let's call it what it is. That voice is an imposter. It doesn't speak facts, it speaks fears. And fears love to wear masks that look like logic. They say things like, I'm just being realistic. I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm only protecting myself. But fear in disguise is still fear. And if we let fear narrate our lives, we begin shrinking ourselves to fit its expectations. We begin making choices based on avoiding pain instead of moving toward joy. So how do you expose the imposter? You do exactly what you're doing now. You slow down, you turn inward, You become curious instead of reactive. You notice the thought without believing it. Oh, there's that voice again. The one that shows up when I'm trying something new. The one that tells me I'll fail before I've even begun. You name it. And when you name the thought, you remove its power to operate in the dark. Because what hides in the dark loses strength in the light. Here's something simple to try. Next time a negative thought pops up, don't try to fight it. Don't try to force it out. Just pause and ask it, whose voice are you? And really listen. Does it sound like someone from your past? Does it echo a moment of shame or embarrassment? Does it feel familiar but not yours? Most of the time, you'll find that voice doesn't come from your truth. It comes from your wounds. But you are not your wounds. You are the healer. You are the one choosing to feel, to notice, to move forward. Let's remind ourselves again. A thought is just a sentence in the mind. It doesn't become real until you believe it. And you have the right to question every single one. Every single time that voice tries to hijack your peace, you can pause and say, I hear you, but I don't have to follow you. I recognize you, but I no longer believe you. That's how the process begins. You don't silence negative thoughts by shouting over them. You silence them by seeing through them. You silence them by refusing to accept them as truth. You silence them by remembering that you are not the voice. You are the one who gets to choose which voices get to stay. There's something about negative thoughts that feels urgent, like you have to respond to them right now, like they demand your attention, like they are life or death. But they're not. They're just thoughts. And thoughts are not emergencies. You don't have to run with them. You don't have to solve them. You don't even have to react. What you need to do is pause. That pause. That small moment of silence between the thought and your response. That's where your power lives. Most of us go years without ever using that pause. We hear the thought, we feel the panic, and we obey it like it's a command. But here's the truth. You don't have to believe the first story your brain tells you. So the next time a negative thought shows up and tries to take over, do something radically simple. Pause and breathe. Seriously. Before you analyze, before you spiral, before you even react, just breathe. In, 2, 3, hold, 2, out, 2, 3, 4. Feel your chest rise. Feel your stomach expand. Feel the air entering and then leaving. Because what this does is signal to your nervous system, I'm safe. And safety dissolves panic. You see, negative thoughts don't just live in the mind. They live in the body. They show up as tight shoulders, clenched jaws, racing hearts, shallow breath, and the body starts reacting before you've even had a chance to think clearly. That's why the breath is so important. It slows everything down. It breaks the loop. It gives you a second to look at the thought instead of getting pulled into it. So next time your brain says, you're messing everything up, pause. Next time it says, everyone's judging you, pause. Next time it says, you're never going to get better, pause. And in that pause, ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it kind? Is it true? Most of the time, it's not. And even if it feels true, feeling is not fact. Just because your brain sends a signal doesn't mean you have to answer it. You can pause, you can breathe, you can choose peace. Every time you pause, you interrupt the old pattern. Every time you breathe, you give your nervous system a lifeline. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you're rewiring your brain toward healing. So keep going. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're not broken. You're becoming. And the more you learn to silence what isn't true, the more you'll start to hear what is. The quiet truth beneath it all. that you are worthy, that you are strong, that you are healing, and that you are still here, breathing, trying, becoming free. You have power over your mind, and that's where peace begins.